Welcome everybody to another edition of W 2005 here in TEW 2020. And yes, it's part of the 31 days of May, day 15. But you know what it is, so let's get rolling to Nitro. Live in front of a little over 16,000 people in beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. The show starts out, of course, with the announcers putting over the huge main event of Charlotte Hair versus Bill Goldberg live on Nitro here tonight in the main event, along with also Mike Awesome versus Alex Wright for the US title. So let's get to 71 and move on to. But first, before we go on the show, we're out in the parking lot, and an expensive car shows up. I would look up like the right expensive car for this time period, but I can't be bothered, honestly. Whatever would be cool for a top babyface to drive in 2005. There we go. Anyway, moving on. Kanyon comes out of the car, and Boris asks him, if he's ready to come back into the ring tonight, and Kanyon says, it was a few restful weeks after hell, but it's time to go back to work. Hidaka, nothing personal. After winning Cage Heat, there's zero chance you're going to defeat me tonight. And then Boris asks him, if he has any future plans, and Kanyon looks up and away from it, then with a sort of smirk says, well, the current world champion is somebody who's been in my sights before. And hell, if he loses at the Bash, the other guys in the match is somebody who I've fought in that ring before. So once again, no matter who's the world champion, after winning Cage Heat, nobody will be able to deny that nobody's better than Kanyon. And Kanyon walks in the ring, 81, perfectly solid promo, like no storylines. So nothing too fancy from there. But there we go. So we do start out our opening match as, oh Christ, I forgot to not mark somebody as a road agent. Okay, I'll have to go back and fix that in a second. Not the end of the world. Yeah, there's a signing who can be a road agent. It's nothing big, but I just forgot to. Yeah, anyway, it's a backstage thing. Don't worry about it. But regardless, we have the debut of Elix Skipper and Prince Jose as an official tag team. As Elix, I'm imagining, is dressed up in some slightly less fancier dress than Prince Jose, but still sort of in that same type of deal. As they come down to the ring and they face off against Great Suzuki and Shannon Moore. Yes, that's a hell of a tag team. And this is again, this is a high spot match, and Moore and Suzuki get to fly around a bit, but in the end, Elix Skipper is a former Cruiserweight champion, and Prince Jose has been very impressive so far in his run in WCW, and they get the win here after about 5 minutes when Skipper gets pinfall on Moore. Against Suzuki, I wish I could push, but he's not around for pay-per-view, so, Anyway, 53, solid match. Jose gets a 62, Elix Skipper gets a 58, Shannon Moore gets a 41, and Great Suzuki gets a 53. About that, just had to do some quick edits to make sure that person was not getting used anymore, but it looked like he was, because it's weird. I sent him off to the other show just so it wouldn't be a problem before I deal with him, but yeah, it's weird that he was still on here. Anyway, Skipper and say celebrate post-match, and there we go, 51. Then we go backstage, and here's a fun little thing. Really good, 86, but basically, we're in the show's review locker room. Jarrett, Divine, and Magnificent March and Drac all look happy. When the Truth walks in, and basically Truth says it's a bunch of BS what happened. He knew you were a bunch of whack-ass silly geeks who can't handle the truth. So get in that ring with me again tonight, and I'll prove it. That it doesn't matter whether you got a guitar, whether you got some bad hair, or whether you got way too much oil on your skin. I can kick your ass. And Jarrett looks over him and says or Slapnuts, we'll just take you out right now. And it looks like there's about to be beatdown when in comes the locker room alongside the Truth is Brother Ray. And Brother Ray said, "Did you really think I was done with you after you did what you did at Slamboree, Jarrett? No. Truth's here with me now, so get your two guys in the ring tonight, and we'll kick their ass." And the match is made, and we have a tag match for later tonight. Brother Ray and the Truth versus Mark Jindrak and Johnny Devine. What a wacky world 2005 WCW is in this timeline. 86, good stuff. Truth's getting better as gimmick, and fun stuff. And then we go backstage, where in a follow-up from last week, we have Austin Aries and Tracy. And Tracy is in Austin's locker room again. Aries is like, I still don't know why you helped me out. I don't know why you're here this week. And Tracy's like, I want to help you with your career. So tonight, let me talk to Bischoff, and you'll get your rematch. And Austin's like, no, I already talked to him. He said I lost, and there's nothing more to do. And Tracy just sort of looks at him, then, shrugs her shoulders, says, I have my ways, and then she walks out. So there we go. Something set up for later tonight, as this gets a 52. And then we have basically backstage O'Hare pacing around as he enters again put over the big main event of tonight. AKA, don't switch back to Raw. 72, again, just a 1 minute segment. And then we have Kanyon absolutely just, again, he hits a Canyon cutter here. He does not win the Northern Light suplex. But Hidaka gets a few spots in. It's not a total squash, but it is, a top guy who just won cage heat against a cruiserweight guy who I barely use. And it is what it is. Kanyon wins. Again, perfectly straightforward pinfall. Even Kanyon probably gets a little cocky before hitting the Canyon cutter and getting the pinfall here. 70 overall. Kanyon gets a 93. Hidaka gets a 55. Perfectly good match to, again, put over Kanyon. And post-match, Kanyon celebrates to the cheers of the crowd as they welcome back after being gone for a couple weeks, as this gets a 71. And then we cut backstage where, we're in the backstage again, and Lepin and Tolan walk up to Ric Flair as Blaster Lashley and Claudio Cesaro are also, behind him. And, they're not very happy as, Lepin says, I just don't get it. You would have had the sexiest co-manager, the best looking man in WCW, as he points at himself, and an international star. But instead, you choose these two nobodies. This just proves maybe you are losing it, old man. And then Don basically steps in and says, or maybe it just means you're a 60-second man these days. Flair steps in, Cesaro and Lashley basically have to confront them, but Flair basically looks over to them and basically shakes his head and says, don't worry. And he says, I know for sure that I could still make you scream like no man has ever had before, even though, honey, there's been many. Woo! And then Flair continues, I chose these men because they can be molded, because they can be helped to be the best. Blaster Lashley is going to be a full-time badass, and Claudio's suits almost cost as much as mine do. Almost. As Claudio sort of looks at his suit and shoulder to shoulder. They will be a fine-tuned unit sooner than later. And then, brother, they will defeat you even easier. And then Cesaro and Lashley sort of step up, and looks like we got a confirmation here, as things are not over between these two teams. As this gets a 78. Solid stuff. And then we go backstage, where we're back to Bischoff's office, where Tracy seems to have a few buttons on her shirt, because in 2005, and, walks into the office, explains, she's here, speaking for Austin Arie, who is the best cruiserweight in this company right now, best in the division, and Matt Sydal just got lucky at Slamboree, and if you just put him back in the ring, there will be a new cruiserweight champion. And Bischoff's like, I appreciate the view right now, but the reality is, Rickus Roberts earned the next title shot by winning that 4-way, and there's nothing I can do about it. Championship committee has agreed, the match is on. And Tracy just says, well, we'll see about that, and then she walks out. 67, not bad. Bischoff helped out here, and again, started building a storyline. Then we're backstage with Borash, with Alex Wright, and Tori Wilson, who, she doesn't have the smile on her face that she has in this picture. And Borash asks if, Tori's happy about Alex Wright agreeing to the match without her input. And Tori basically says, she fully supports her client and will be watching happily after the match when he's still the United States champion. But it doesn't seem like she's quite all into it. And then Alex steps in and says, tonight's about reminding everybody why he's continuing to hold this title against any all competition. And tonight's no different. Mike Awesome is a big man, he's a dangerous man, and he's a tag champion for a reason. But I'm still one of the best technical wrestlers in this business. And after tonight, it's going to be no different. And then they walk away, even though they seem to be a little bit apart. As this gets a 57. Let me just see here. Okay, a little morale for Tori. And then we have backstage where Goldberg, is also pacing the locker room as, getting announcers put over the match later tonight. Again, please don't turn the channel back to Raw. And then, okay. Well, I sort of expected this. So this is a total squash match. Secret of Sin, of course, after last week, their confrontation with Morningstar and Kai Graves. Again, their total confrontation with Morningstar and Kai Graves. It was not Macias. If anybody tells you that, it's a lie. So they're back in the ring tonight, and they just destroy these two jobbers, these two local workers, in a minute. And yeah, it's just a total destruction. 42, Killswitch gets a 55, Rush Hour gets a 61, and yeah, these two jobbers, no big deal. But then, as they're getting up after the match, in comes Kai Graves, down to the ring, rushing into the ring as Morningstar is at the top of the ramp, waiting as Kai Graves kills both men. Just a big boot, a big sort of like Tortoral power slam, a big spear, and then a big boot, sending both men out of the ring, one after the other, as Morningstar slides in beside him and basically, takes the mic and asks, Raven, is this the best you can truly do? So 55 for just like quick post-match segment, putting over Kai Graves, and then we see things shift to where Raven is up in the catwalk, Macias standing beside him. And he says, the Seekers are but sentries, but Macias and I are still here in the nest. You want a confrontation and your final destruction? You want a confrontation that will be your final destruction? Your apocalypse, if you will? Then find us. You know where to go, Morningstar. The Prophet has told you, I know. And then Morningstar fires back. The message is what is true. If you want to fight in your catacombs, your catwalks, or any other place of carnage, so be it. There is no prophet, only the message, and it has told me, Raven, you will fall eventually, and Macias will return to me. And then Raven says back, lots of men have promised me annihilation, Morningstar, but none have been able to give me what I truly need. Try your best, but you will fail, just like them all, quoth the Raven. Nevermore. So it seems like next week there'll be some sort of confrontation in the nest, or catacomb, or catwalk. I don't know. 77, again, solid stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, this is sort of our segmented stuff. Fun stuff, though. But then we cut backstage, where Helms and Tomko are doing backstage stuff, when in come the Hart Legacy, and basically they say, it's sort of insulting that you just assume you're next up for the next title shot because you defeat Reno's and Gigantes, who are, really solid tag team, but we were just an assault of anarchy, and we almost had the champions, those belts a few times. So if you truly think you can defeat us, you defeat, and Jack says, look, you beat me last week, Helms, not going to say anything about it, but you've never actually got us in a match together and beat us as we've been working together for years. And Helms sort of like laughs and says, guys, I'm a former world champion. I'm the greatest champion of all time. And my man Titus Tomko here has been bodyguard and been the guy for prime ministers, warlords, and CEOs all over the world. You two kids need to learn that falling off some ladders or going through some tables or doing some bunch of flips doesn't make you top guys. So yeah, if you want to get in that ring and learn that you're never going to be part of any legacy, then so be it. I think maybe we have a match for next week. As this gets an 82. Hey, Helms really helps out there, but Evans and Hart actually didn't do too bad. So there we go, good stuff. And then we have our U.S. title match. And Jesus Christ, it's a lot better than I expected. So here's the thing, is Wright really does his best. But the problem here is Mike Awesome is that much bigger, that much better. And honestly, he's extremely talented. He's not some, guy who just sort of throws you around and does some basic stuff and works off his size. He's ready to brawl. He's ready to fight. He can't do much submissions, but he knows how to power them. And this is basically the story of the match. Every time Wright thinks he's on some offense, Awesome follows it up. Of course, there's probably a spot here where Torian, April Hunter have a quick little cat fight, because 2005. But eventually, Wright gets some big moves in, and he goes for the, sort of swinging double arm DDT. He does finish so many matches, but Awesome kicks out right 2.5. Wright goes for another one. Awesome sort of hits a big suplex in the corner, takes over, and after a couple minutes, hits the Awesome Bomb after a little over 11 minutes, and wins the WCW United States Heavyweight title. This gets a 90. Awesome gets an 83. Wright gets a 72. This is probably going to be the best match of the night. But, gotta set things up for the story. And post-match, Lane Storm comes out, and Triumvirate have lots and lots of belt nows, don't they? Of course, Kibben isn't here, but the announcers put over what an accomplishment it is for the Triumvirate to have the World Tag titles, the World title, and now the TV and US title. Yes, the internet would hate this, and I want to say this. I got this idea mostly before the whole bloodline thing. Like, I understand, like, they had all the belts and all that fun stuff, but like, long-term booking, maybe, I mean, obviously the bloodline were around like not that long, but the basic idea I had before I even thought about it. So I'm only slightly like following this up, but anyway, moving on. 69, nice, they celebrate. And then we have our big tag match, as you know, Truth and Brother Ray work well together. They really do. But here's the problem. They're facing off against not only a team in Jindrak and Divine that are working together a lot, they're also the small matter of their outgunned 3-on-2. So, Jared comes in, back and forth math. Truth plays face in peril. Brother Ray does some brawling. Jindrak looks impressive. Divine flies around. But eventually, Divine hits the Divine Interfection on Truth after Jarrett comes in and whacks him with a guitar. 1, 2, 3. Pinfall victory for Jindrak and Divine. This gets an 80. Brother Ray gets an 88. Truth gets a 75. Johnny Divine gets a 71. Jindrak gets a 74. But it looks like the 3-on-2 beatdown is on as they all go after Brother Ray since the Truth is out for the moment. When out of nowhere, who comes out from the back to run them off? But Gigantes. Gigantes, last seen team with Reno, is seemingly trying to make up for his past deeds as he comes out, and he actually catches Johnny Divine and it's about to hit him with a choke slam when Divine basically like scratches his eyes and then walks back over the top rope out of the ring. And then all three, the weird team of Brother Ray, Gigantes, and the Truth stands tall, staring down at the Hart Legacy as this gets a 76. Fun stuff. And then first, we have and then we see Tracy, smoothing on her skirt, looking up and down, and then entering the locker room again, an unseen locker room, but we can sort of only assume it's Reckless Roberts' locker room. See what happens there. As it gets to 30 just because it's like a 2-minute segment. And then we have the Revolution rebound, focusing, of course, on Booker T being named the number one contender, and Tricia Skye, in the big 6-woman match. We get to 69, and then it's main event time. And, first, out comes Goldberg, 69, again, 2-minute segment, and then the match is on. And this is like a US Pro style match. Like, it's Sean O'Haire and Goldberg. Like, it's not going to be nothing fancy, but, crowd split, big moves back and forth. And eventually what happens here is O'Haire actually gets Goldberg up for the Widowmaker, but Goldberg gets out of it, is able to hit a big boot on O'Haire, that I'm sure Bret Hart would have stories about, nails him with a spear, but, has been hit by too many moves to quickly get up. And then, out of nowhere, somebody comes out of the crowd with a chair and absolutely drills Goldberg as he has O'Haire locked in for the jackhammer. But then he hits O'Haire again as the referee calls for the bell. And yeah, okay. Yep, okay. So this got nailed. Oof. All right. Let's see here. Did this get nailed? I did. No, there's a storyline. It started. Okay. Okay, that's weird that there's no story. Okay, so stamina, that's fine. No worries. Odd face heel combination, I accepted that. But lack of associated storyline, the storyline began. That seems like a bug. And then type of finish. Okay. So I honestly just should have done a double DQ, but I wanted to do for the story. God. Okay, well. So O'Haire and Goldberg are down. The ref is being chased off. And Eddie takes the mic. And he says, 2 weeks ago, I went through hell. But now I'm back. And I'll be damned if I let these two SOBs, who've been given everything they wanted by WCW management since they showed up, to outshine me again. I didn't come back to this company to be a background player again to a couple of over-muscled lunkheads. Again. Now, I'll admit I lost at Slamboree by the thinnest of margins, but I'm past that now. Tonight begins redemption, and Grow family values are that you do it and you get that redemption any way possible. And then he walks away as the youngsters put over that Eddie Guerrero has made his presence felt here in his return and ruined a huge match between Shawn Taylor and Bill Goldberg. The show overall gets us an, okay, 83. Not great. That's, yeah. I should have just done it like a double DQ instead of the sports entertainment finish. I honestly thought it would be okay, but I guess our type of product, it doesn't hate it like, like Respectful Wrestling would, but I guess it still nails it. That's unfortunate. I should have double checked that, but hey, you learn. You learn. I haven't done that finish in probably forever, and I probably like saw that same thing, you know, a year ago when I last booked it. So shit happens. But hey, start off good storyline, and like okay, so if that was like a regular, let's say even like a 78, that would probably be a solid like 87, 88 show. So shit happens. What can you do? We'll look at Raw in a second. Okay, so yeah, okay, Bill Goldberg. I mean, look, Bill, you're not wrong, but I need him around. And Perry said, okay, that's interesting. So first, let's see here. Nitro did a 2.76, and Raw did a. Oh, okay. So I'll just like double. Yeah, okay. It's always weird that the TV like. It's really weird that they don't like actually have it set up so that the TV ratings don't matter where you're at. I sort of get why, but it's still really weird. Anyway, Veronica Vane defeats Lee Majors by DQ. Orton, Johnson, Hawk, and Mert brawled with the top shelf. Jericho promo. Kurt Angle defeated Maven by DQ. Molly Holly and Elizabeth Love defeated Amber James and Shaniqua in a 76. Sure. Christian promo. Austin promo. Vampiro promo. Brock Lesnar killed Braun Waterman. Top shelf defeated Orton, Justice, and Hawk. Interesting. Big Show defeated Kane by DQ in a 95. Sure, that's totally a 95. Okay game. In the main event, Undertaker and Benoit defeated Jericho and Triple H in a 99. Cool. But yeah, so to look at that, some storylines. Okay, so Against the Darkness is at a 71. I still need to figure out how to figure this out. Chosen Backgrounds is at a 79. Cruiser Stuff's at a 54. Evolution is a Mystery is at a 69. Expensive Taste is at an 86. And Top Guy Stuff is at a 64 because, yeah, okay. Wow. At least, yeah. Nitro's, I'm going to be honest here, is a bit of a transition period as we're moving on to the next thing for everybody, but fun things. Anyway, that's it for the moment. I'll be back in just a second with, well, for you guys, at least, with Revolution. All right, it's now time for Revolution, live from Freedom Hall in I think it's Louisville, Kentucky. Regardless, the show starts out with Chuck Palumbo coming out on his bike with Raven Rain to the booze. No, sorry, it's Monty Brown coming out first, and he says, once for all, he is going to make his presence felt, and I don't give a crap about anybody else. Rob Van Dam, AJ Styles, even Booker. This is my time, and I'm going to pounce anybody who gets in my way. Cue AJ Styles coming out to a big pop, and he's saying, Monty Brown, you try to take me out, and I'm back at 100%, and I'm going to prove I'm the face that runs this place. I'm going to rise to the top and be a true-born WCW World Champion, whether you like it or not. Like there's about to fight when Chuck Palumbo comes out on his bike, with Raven Reigns says, no. I'm the leader of Revolution, whether any of you there in this ring or anybody backstage likes it or not. Because I've been this close to World Championships, and I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers again. And then to Rob Van Dam, to another big pop. No. And Rob Van Dam's like, I just want to remind everybody, I'm RVD. And I was just on very important business, but I need to remind you, I'm an actual former world champion. And nothing personal, but if anything, man, I should be the next man up. Because I'm now Mr. Wednesday Night. And the argument continues, and out comes Stay Long. He says, wait. Okay. You don't like you? You don't seem to like anybody. You want to make an impact, so what? We have a tag team match, playa. RVD and AJ Styles teaming up against Monty Brown and Chuck Palumbo. I think anybody here and everybody here in Louisville wants to see that tonight. Pop for that, and there we go. We have our tag team main event, which is going to be Rob Van Dam and AJ Styles versus Monty Brown and Chuck Palumbo. This gets a 96, and yeah, good stuff. Just everybody did well. RVD struggled, but that's just a bad roll, but great stuff. And then after that, we have our opening tag team match, which is going to be the social scene of Annie Vidal and Nikki Radcliffe taking on of course, the members of Capitivation, Lexi James and Angel Fox. And this is a back and forth match called in ring because, again, after months of working on our dev fed, all these women are actually good in the ring, or at least good psychology. And, Angel Fox gets to look a little bit dominant. Annie Vidal gets tagged in for the hot tag. But when Lexi James and Annie Vidal are in the ring at the same time, Vidal is able to sort of like hit a snap neck breaker on the ropes, and then followed up with the Lexi DDT. And then she holds the tights. No, she doesn't hold the tights. She puts her feet on the ropes for leverage to get the pinfall victory, as Nikki Radcliffe gets knocked off the ring apron by Angel Fox with a big forearm. And a big victory for the heels here, as honestly, I've sort of been like under pushing them lately. A big victory here. This gets a 61. Nikki Radcliffe gets a 46. Annie Vidal gets a 49. Angel Fox gets a 61. And Lexi James gets a 50. Which is interesting. But Lexi with the win here. And of course, post-match, the heels celebrate as, the crowd, as the announcers put over. They are both former women's world champions, so there's nothing for socially to be upset about. But looks like the Capitivation are back on track after this win and a strong win of Lizzie Dumas last week on Revolution. That gets 50 out to celebrate. We cut backstage where Amy Weber is with European Disunion as she explains, that tonight Nikki Colt is going to be in singles action against Lynn Cartier after Cartier asked for the match. And Nikki Colt's like, I'm still the Czech champions with Lucina for a reason. For God knows reason, Cartier is trying to revive the disappointment that her career has become. I'm still a former women's world champion, Cartier, and if you, as a French hag, wants to get in the ring and tries to take on true excellence, you'll just be another banana binga who doesn't know what she's doing. And tonight, you'll see why I have ice in my veins. 82 promo, and banana binger is banana bender, which basically means someone who's just unaware or like does the same wrong thing over and over again. Again, I looked up some German insults. Fun times. 82 good. I sometimes forget Nikki Colt's a really good promo and buildings up with Cartier. And then we go back, not backstage, we go back to the ring where Keith Walker comes out with Tori Wilson, and Tori puts over Walker's success so far here in WCW, and he's ready for his next challenge. And out comes Prince Iakea. Crowd is confused. Announcers are confused. And basically, Iakea says he's been away from WCW for too long. And now he's here to shut Keith Walker up and prove that he's the Prince of Pro Wrestling. 32. And then Keith Walker kills him in 2 minutes and just kicks his ass. 24, because again, the lack of just 2 pre-show workers, so 2 unfortunates, which I just got to do here. Keith Walker gets a 48, Prince K gets a 21, and just throws him around, takes him down, big boot, spine buster, knees to the head, ref calls for the bell, and that's the match. And post-match, Walker celebrates with Keith Walker as he gets a 39. And I'm trying to build this up, but it's a weird thing because we have sort of a limited men's roster, and there's only so much I can do before I have to throw him into real food, but I don't want to know if I want to drop him or not. So he's just sort of doing this for the moment until I figure the next step for him. Anyway, though, we then cut to earlier today, as the announcers put it over, where Bro Down Chris Roxy is doing some partying in the parking lot with this is sort of like a setup by WCW thing. We got some shots, some beer pong, and some possibly paid to be there co-eds and guys in the parking lot doing some partying, when out comes Keenan Sharpe. Of course, we last week sort of said it was disgusting that we're setting Chris Roxy up along with these college students as what no one should be, instead of the path. And he sort of takes the mic from Roxy, who's hyping up the crowd, says, "You all need to be on the path, especially you, Roxy. But all these men of low intelligence and these women of low character who think that ending up in the backseat of a truck with any of these morons will make their life better. But you," and he turns to Roxy. And Roxy steps in "Wait, what are you doing, man? We're just having some fun." And Sharpe asks him, "Are you a wrestler ready to fight in that ring? are you just a mascot traveling from town to town? Show up and prove it one way or other. And then Sharpe walks away. Looks like we have a match set for next week. Maybe? Who knows? 61, solid stuff. And yeah, this is just a wacky undercard angle I want to do. To get Roxy an actual angle, build up his character a little more. Sharpe's been sort of like stuck in the morass after, after being pushed really strongly. He's sort of been like stuck in the mid card for a while. So there's just something fun for both of them to do. And then we cut backstage where Amy Weber finds AJ Styles as he's leaving RVD's locker room. And like AJ sort of tries to play off this, I'm going to get ready for the match. I don't have time for this. Amy continually asks him as they're walking about, what did you and RVD talk about? And AJ finally says, look, don't want to make a big deal of this because we're ready to fight tonight. But, RVD was busy on his phone again talking to somebody. Wouldn't tell me. And he just said, I'm going to be ready in the ring. So will you. And we will be. So that's it, okay? And then AJ walks away, seemingly not quite happy about that. But Amy Weber, talks back to the announcers. It seems like RVD continues to be more worried about his out-of-the-ring exploits at the moment than teaming with AJ Styles in tonight's main event. This gets an 83. Solid stuff. And then we have not the best promo, but I sort of expected this. Lance Storm comes out to the ring with the television title, and he says, I can be serious for a moment. Mike Austin and Billy Kidman sure aren't, because my Coke stablemates are still celebrating Mike's U.S. title win. But tonight, I'm here to begin the work. So let the greatest TV title reign begin in earnest. So, come out, whoever is the first man that will end up as a victim of my reign. And cue Sandman coming out. We'll get the OK pop as this gets a 65, and then the match itself. It's, again, not quite a total squash, but like Sandman gets a little bit of brawling in, but Storm takes over and eventually nails him. Says with spinning leg, but he nails him with a super kick. After maybe a little distraction and reboller, but it's basically a clean match. As Lance Storm gets the victory here. Gets a 70 first defense. Storm gets an 86 because he's freaking great. And Sandman gets a 49. Storm's another guy. Like, Storm and Awesome have been consistently under pushed by me. Like, anyway, post-match, Storm celebrates with Amber Hunter. It gets a 69. Nice. And yeah, just a undercard win for Storm to build him up as a TV champion. Also still half the tag champs. And then we move forward. As now we're backstage. I'm not backstage, but we're to a VTR where Anderson is in his woods, but now he's like in a deer stand out somewhere in the Wisconsin woods as opposed to the swamps of where Jamie Knoble was. And he cuts a promo saying, Knoble, I'm from Wisconsin. We got woods too. But more importantly, Knoble, I can still defeat you. And look, buddy, pal, Jamie, I'm sure you know a bunch of holes from some Japanese match 15 years ago only dorks who trade tapes through dirt sheets know about it. But that's fine. I don't need to lock in the Wakamata hold of doom number 325 or whatever to make you say I quit. I can just kick your ass from pillar to post. So yeah, you think you'll make me say I quit? That's not going to happen inside of any ring or anywhere. Anderson out. 75, good promo. And basically, yeah, we will have this officially set up. It's going to be 1 versus 1. Do we have I Quit? Yes, we do. It's going to be Jamie Knoble, officially, versus Ken Anderson. And yeah, also Tricia Skye versus Gail Kim is official, Booker versus Kidman for the title, and AMW versus Awesome Storm in a rematch. But here we go, moving forward. We then have Palumbo and Monty Brown backstage in a angle here, as, basically they're together, they're working together, they're still not best friends, but, getting along a little better. And, Palumbo's like, Monty's already stepping in on our show, and he needs to be shown his place. Then, once we're done with him, AJ will be ready to be taken apart, and everyone will see he's nothing but a punk kid who doesn't know his proper respect. And my business says, rip and tear, destroy and devour. That's what I might play tonight. So as long as you're ready for that, Palumbo, we can be teammates. Palumbo agrees, and looks like they're ready tonight. A little more possibly than RVD and Styles, as this gets a 96. Good stuff. And then we have our semi-main event as Sling Cartier takes on Navy Colt, and it's a back and forth match. Like, Colt, this was a little disappointing. Interesting. I'll have to double check the dirt sheet. Anyway, back and forth match. Cartier, does a little bit of brawling, some big moves, suplexes. Colt fires back, keeping some, holds locked in. Holt, trying to lock Cartier in submission, but Cartier fights out. Eventually, Cartier hits a few big moves in a row. Colt tries to lock in submission again. Cartier powers it out of it, turns into Slice Leve. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And she picks a huge victory over one half of the tag champions. As it gets a 69, Cartier gets a 75. Colt gets a 75. Let's see here. What? Low quality for announcing, low heat for the storyline, and okay, it sort of sucks you can get nailed twice for just low heat. That seems bad. Anyway, still a decent match. And post-match, Cartier celebrates and makes the belt motion, pointing at Nikita, and it looks like we might have a new challenger for the women's tag titles, but who would be our partner? 68 there, as we move forward. As then we have, what is going to be a fun little angle here. So, again, we cut to a VTR of Tricia on a random morning talk show, as the person, as the newscaster, ask about an upcoming house show in, let's say, we're in Kentucky, so let's say it's in Memphis. Tricia puts it over, says, lots of, this is a new era of women's wrestling in WCW. And then, as she pushes that, then she's about to ask about her title match when Gail Kim comes into the TV studio. As we're sort of seeing a different angle as as Gail is pushing away security. And, she holds up her women's title belt. And she says, I'm the champ. I'm still the queen of this decision. But for some reason, WCW brass still wants to send their golden girl on the TV to sell to the ropes. Oh, I know why. Because they think the idiots out there in TV land, when I see some hot blonde with fake WAP and the brawl is on, they're fighting. Security tries to stop them, but you're being pushed away. And then we cut from there as the announcers put over, this feud is raised to another level. As this gets a 95. Good stuff. And then we have a Booker history. So basically, I'll be honest here. I just couldn't think of a good follow-up angle right away to do between Booker and Kidman since we have this big match, the main event TV, where other stuff going on, and sort of, the match is set. Booker got the win, they're down. We can sort of build other stuff up, but I just wasn't 100% sure with everything else that was going on. But anyway, so this is just a Booker history package. It's basically his beginnings in Texas. We can get a video of that. Harlem Heat, show victory, the tag victories, his first world title victory, which will try to cut around all the wackiness that came with that as much as possible. His battles with various wrestlers, arriving in the new era of WCW, taking the belt from Scott Steiner at Starrcade, then, battling various men as a champion, as he puts everything over, battling with the Deadpool. We see, stuff of his heel turn and the rise of King Booker, even though he was never as much King Booker as he was in WWE. Then his, that's part of his 6th title reign, him losing O'Hare, readjusting himself, and now, ready to take on Billy Kidman for the championship. 100 video, and this is just a pure video package. Again, internet would probably hate it, but, gotta put a guy over because they always new people showing up. And then we have our main event, which is, 87. Not, let's see here. 2 points over, minus 1 point. 5 points over, 8 points. So 2 point loss total. So probably just the announcing. And again, this is a very back and forth tag title. RVD and Styles, do some high flying. They're the baby faces, so they're starting to start. Palumbo and Monty Brown come back with some powerhouse moves, take advantage. AJ Styles plays face in peril for a while. Palumbo goes for the promo pride, but AJ gets out of it, does some brawling with Palumbo. Monty comes in. He hits the forearm on Monty, gets a near fall. Eventually, things break down. RVD comes in, to brawl, but he comes in and he ends up nailing AJ with a spin kick out of, sort of as Palumbo gets out of the way. Palumbo tosses RVD to the outside. AJ stumbles up. Boom, pounce. 1, 2, 3. And Monty and Palumbo get the big victory here on Revolution over RVD and Styles. In an 87, like I said, AJ gets a 90. RVD gets a 93. Brown gets an 84, Palumbo gets an 89, and I'm going to guess if we look at the downsides. So yeah, just announcing some inconsistency, and that's about it. But then post-match, RVD and AJ argue, and they look like they're ready to fight. But in comes, they argue, but then they're ready to fight as Monty and Palumbo, get back in the ring. And it was like, there's about to be a brawl when out comes Teddy Long, and he says, basically, he puts over, you guys are all 4 great competitors. But there's obviously some tension out here between all of you. Whether you're partners tonight or you weren't, you all want each other in that ring. So, we got the Great American Bash coming up. But after that, and a couple months later, we got the Mayhem tournament in August now. So, players, what I'm thinking is all 4 of you at the Great American Bash in a 4-way match. 1 fall, no elimination. Whoever gets the pinfall gets the number 1 seed in the Mayhem tournament, but also gets a bye in the first round. But whoever loses is not part of the tournament at all. And we all know what's at stake in that tournament. So it's a big deal. So there we go. We have a big 4-way match set up for Great American Bash. Is this me working around the fact that AJ and Monty Brown have bad chemistry? Who could say? Is this me not wanting to blow a Chuck Palumbo RVD match again right away? Who could say? But overall, the show gets an 89. Overall, we get an 89 as far as the show goes. So really good show. And we'll just see what happened here as this loads up. But yeah, that was a really fun show, I think. Some little bit of wackiness with that. But I mean, that also shows you can have sort of I don't say disappointing, but a sort of meh semi-main, and as long as the main event's really good, you can still pull it off really good. And I'm sure the multiple 90+ angles didn't hurt it either. It's funny, I sort of wanted Revolution to be more of the wrestling show originally, but whatever. Okay, so also there's a random breakup of the people in my the Fed, doesn't really matter. Revolution did well. Let's see here. Just because it's here and it's okay, so small time women's independent wrestling, yeah, okay, that's nothing big there. But let's see here. What did All Japan do? Okay, this is a world where Shane Hagedorn defeated Go Shiozaki. You may all cry at that. Let's see here. Nothing else really of note. Let's see here. Nagai and Aira defeated Sasaki and Kuroda to retain the All Asia tag titles. Yoji Anjo defeated Nunzio to retain the World Junior Heavyweight title. Too Cold Scorpio and Hayabusa defeated Kid and Ono. Okay, Dragon Kid and Hishiono. Okay, 70. Shigo Okamura defeated Suwama. TOK defeated Jordan Hines. Omori defeated Mike Barton to retain the Triple Crown. Oh, right, I totally forgot Omori's a champion. And the main event, Kawada defeated Hase in 77. Sure. Fun stuff. But that was that. If we go back to WWE, we have SmackDown. Crash already defeated Randy Orton. Yeah, I don't know. Because did Orton piss off somebody? I don't know. It's weird his booking. Random promos. Gallows and Brujo defeated Christian and Justice and Hawk in an 86. Molly Holly defeated Amber James. Chris Jericho defeated Steven Richards in a 97. Kurt Angle defeated Benoit, JBL, and Scott Steiner in 99. Lesnar and Undertaker defeated DD Paul in a disappointing 96. Cue my sarcasm. And Edge defeated Regal and Triple H in a main event 99. Sure. Then if we go to R. So Wildside TV. Kent Cole and Matt Morgan defeated Ryan Drago and Dagon Briggs. Kichin Kawabata, Ray Lordy. Yeah, okay. Kenzo Suzuki defeated Chance Prophet. Sure. Susanoo Tennessee defeated Ortiz and Daz. Okay. And for the weekly house show, let's see, anything of note to show you guys. Not Riley. Cass Riley defeated Matt Cross. Matt Cross is somebody who will eventually be part of our Cruiserweight division. Actually, probably soon as far as that goes. Jim Ray defeated Lazarus. Yeah. Nothing much really of note going on here. Sort of a weird point for my dev fed, at least the men's side, because those guys here, they are either a while away or I've got no space for them at the moment. Meanwhile, American Wrestling's Queens, which I think I showed you guys. Yeah, I totally showed you, right? Yeah, because I mentioned right that weird main event. Okay, then we had our weekly show, which had Madison Eagles defeated Annette Blanchard at a 28. Some backstage statements. Tracy Brooks defeated Amazing Kong by countout. Okay. Mischief and ODB and Michelle McCool defeat Trace Trailer and Mega One at 48. Noah Osaka defeated Carla Chambers in a 52 training match. And then Ariel defeated Kim Nielsen for the AWQ title. So the thing with Kim Nielsen, aka Desire, as I pull up her profile, is she's like pretty decent and like she's good in the ring, but her charisma and like basically like overall talent wise, like she's really hot and that's about it. Like her charisma microphone really didn't get there, but like she's good in the ring just like everybody else is, and she's like decent. But I don't know what like I could do to her do for her as a character, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, fun stuff. Um, and then HWA actually had a big show. Dustin Lee defeated Andre Shearer, Andy Douglas, Billy Baxton, Falaba defeated Silas Young and Club Deluxe. Dan Robert and Jimmy Jacobs defeated Darren Corbin, Barry Bradburn, who's a region. Joel Grunge defeated Tori Strada by DQ. Grunge is a region. Ray Steele defeated Drew Onyx, who is of course the former Ebony Sable, Ricky Shane Page, and Corey Castle, and tables match retained the TV title. And Cyber Squad defeated Excalibur and Alex Shelley retained the HWA tag titles. Again, I don't remember who all is actually under a WWE contract or who's just people the Def Ed signed, so that's not such a huge deal. OVW, Sean Casey defeated John Cena on the undercard. Cena's getting there slowly. Let's see here. Tony Momlik defeated Too Tough Tony in a ladder match. Sure. Lizzie Warden, AJ Sparks. Ace Body defeated Disciples of Sin, who's Damian Wolfie D. Dane Dory and Joey Ryan defeated Mr. Page and Charlie Haas. Well, some of those people are not terrible people. And Joey Matthews defeated Rob Conway. OVW Weekly Loop South. Trailer Park Trash defeated John Cena. So, okay. Capitelli and Shark Boy defeated Russ Haas and Shaggy 2 Dope. Those are sure two tag teams. Let's see here. Rob Conway defeated Chuck Taylor by DQ. That would actually, I think, be a fun match. Chance Taylor defeated Lizzie Borden. And Joey Matthews defeated Joey Ryan. Again, I'm probably not going to ever, like, in game, like, if WDAI brings up Joey Ryan, okay, but otherwise, eh. But yeah, then just quick storyline check. Like, yeah, we're doing pretty, like, honestly, again, Nitros at this point is sort of like a thing where I have to rebuild everything. But we should be able to do it. Let's see here. And then, yeah. Like, our only truly super hot storyline at the moment is sort of our Top Revolution storyline. Okay, that's a lie. Also, our tag title storyline. But everything else needs to be rebuilt. Gail Kim and Tricia Skye. I mean, I guess it's interesting even. Like, after all these, there's only an 81. I guess the match sort of hurt it. We'll figure it out. Anyway, though, outside of that, I always forget what else has happened. So, news-wise, events. Right, okay. So, anything else that I think you guys would be... WDA, who still exists in this world, has Johnny Curtis. Yes, that's Fandang. No. Is that Tyler Breeze? Yes, Tyler Breeze defeated whoever this guy is. And then, yeah, Roadkill's there, Horseshoe's there, fun stuff. And I think I showed you guys everything else because, WC had a big show, which was main evented by Carly Colon winning back the WC Universal title. So yes, the two people who got the two biggest pops of the month in real life had a match. Outside of that, interesting stuff. Let's see here. This is all normal WC stuff. Yeah, actually, nothing, not even anything that weird. But speaking of weird, CZW, Rick Blade defeated Johnny Cashmere. Bruce Massino defeated Dixie. Those are sure two very different people. Sandman defeated Brian Lane in an I Quit match. Balls Mahoney and Amazing Red defeated Jerry Sags and Head Striker Shamu. Okay. And I think that's about it. let's see here. Was there anything else of note? FIPs still exist. Micropotas defeated Jerry Lynn. But yeah, that really is about it here. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to double check. Yeah, it really was the All Japan show, and that's about it. So, we're continuing on the Great American Bash, which again, pre-booking wise, we got AJ Styles versus Money versus Flair versus RVD, like I just went over. ANW versus Awesome Storm in a rematch for the tag titles. Booker T getting his title shot against Kidman. Jamie Knoble versus Ken Anderson in I Quit match. And Tricia Skye versus Gail Kim in an Iron Woman match. But that's it for now. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like, comment below on what you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, including this series, my Cornellverse series, the Cody Rhodes owning Ring of Honor, Journey Wrestling, Victoria 3, Creator Kings 3, and other random stuff that might pop up. But that's it for now. So talk later, and adios. Have a good one.